All right, House, week 16 is here. We had a rough week 15. First time I got my ass kicked by a weekend in a while. Lost $510,000 for $1 million picks, but we're still up for $1.254 million. And I like a lot of the stuff this week. The only thing that really changed for me last week, and I was just wrong, like Pittsburgh, Philly, whatever. Like some of the losses, like whatever. I just had the wrong side. I get it. Seattle, Green Bay, I had way wrong. I thought like this is the time Seattle is going to show everybody that they might actually be like a little sleepery. And instead, Green Bay absolutely kicked their ass. And Green Bay, I almost wish I had gone into that game thinking one of these two teams is going to emerge as the NFC sleeper. I was shocked by how they got their ass kicked. What did you think of that game?
So here's my overreaction to the entire week. And it really does, it's expressed most perfectly by that game. I will confess just for myself, I got lulled into a sample size that wasn't really reflective with that Seattle defense. And throughout the card in week 15, I chose the defense over the offense. And in each instance, the team with the superior offense beat the crap out of the team
like
with
Philly,
the defense.
Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Seattle.
Yes. Tampa went into the Chargers.
Buffalo, Detroit. That was another one.
Right.
Tampa Chargers. I stayed away from that, thank God. Yeah, the Seattle defense, they had done Arizona twice and the Jets and the Niners when they were banged up, and it made us kind of threw us off a little bit. So
they were good numbers. They were like, look at all the ways that they've improved, and they had health, and they were very it was a compelling case. It just didn't hold any water.
Yeah, so when I was going through the games this week, look, if I'm going to lose a week, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to get back in the lab, try to figure out how I can get better. And I was really looking back, really trying to go over some of the numbers versus the schedule and who played. And so like we have these Saturday games, Texans, Chiefs. Mahomes isn't playing. Texans are favored by 2.5. Mahomes comes back. It seems like now it's Chiefs by 3.5 in Houston. And the numbers would say, hey, watch out for Houston in this game. They have the number one defense in DVOA. Like they're going to be able to really pressure the Chiefs, and they just haven't played enough good teams, and they haven't looked good in the games they played. And I'm just looking at this going, are the Chiefs really they're really just going to lose in Houston to this Houston team that can't seem like they can stay out of its own way offensively, that can't really block. And definitely unquestionably has a good defense, but I don't want to say they're the good bad team, but they're kind of one level above that, but below the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills level. You know what I mean?
So this game to me was the most confounding and the hardest for me to try and choose a path. And I'm halfway inclined to bet on Houston and grab the Houston money line on the possibility that all of the Mahomes stuff is smoke and mirrors. Because Kansas City's smart enough to try and give itself an advantage on everything. So part of the advantage would be having Houston's defense prepare for Mahomes and then come out with a Wentz game plan. I wouldn't put it past Kansas City in any way, shape, or form. The challenge is the Chiefs defense stinks. Their secondary is bad, and they haven't been able to do anything since week 8. I mean, it's, look at the numbers. They're a bottom 10 pass defense.
So this is a stay away from you.
It is. I mean, even though I think in the second half, especially Joe mixing these nuts, like that's the pathway. Houston can't score in the second half. So if they get up, 17 to something, and then they do what they do, which is score a touchdown or a field goal in the second half, and they try and run mixing these nuts, to 15 times. That's their path, and you're up against Carson Wentz. But I just don't trust that we're going to see a healthy Mahomes, and I don't like that since that Kansas City defense one bit.
The other thing that worries me about it is just when the team also then has to play on Wednesday. I just don't know what that does. We talked about this a little last week. I don't know what that does mentally for like how you have an edge for that game, any of that stuff.
They're planning, right? They're planning for Saturday and Wednesday. The Chiefs are doing that right now. How can it make sense to have Mahomes in any kind of diminished capacity
All right, so
in the Saturday game?
And yet I don't want to stay away from the other Saturday game because I think we see it the same. The Ravens -6.5 Steelers. There's a lot of like stuff with Lamar and watch out if the Steelers own him. And I think without Pickens, I just don't see the Steelers getting there. It would have to be almost the greatest hits of bad Ravens Steelers games from a Baltimore perspective. Missed field goals, Lamar doing something dumb, the tipped interception, all kinds of stupid shit. The 50-yard pass interference that the Steelers get to give them a new drive. And as we stayed at the craps table with the Steelers, I think 1 week too long last week.
Yeah.
They're 10-4. I think if they're 10-5, that's fine. I don't know.
The problem for them is that they go to Wednesday against the Chiefs,
right?
10-5. That's hard.
Yeah, but they're still they're making the playoffs, and
yes, they are.
I mean, Baltimore lost them already. So if you're taking Pittsburgh, you're saying we're almost taking their touchdown underdog. On top of it, they would be beating Baltimore twice in the same season. Baltimore be 9-6 after this, so they wouldn't. They'd be like a 6 or 7. I don't know. I just think the Ravens win, and I don't want to lay the points. I just want to take their money line and put it with stuff.
Yeah, because every trend that's out there says that against the spread, this is a great opportunity to get in on Pittsburgh. I don't want to have anything to do with Pittsburgh with no TJ Watt. Let's see what even a diminished TJ Watt. That's their record without TJ Watt is abysmal, and every number goes out the window if he doesn't play. Now, it seems like he's going to play. The practice reports, kind of have him in the mix. But if he's diminished at all, then I don't love it against this Ravens offense. And
it's gonna be cold. This feels like a Derrick Henry game.
The front seven for Pittsburgh didn't really get home against the Eagles offensive line. I mean,
that's the other thing. They got their asses kicked last week.
They got their asses kicked, and I think the Ravens offense is as good as the Eagles offense.
Yeah. All right. So we're marking down Ravens money line.
Ravens money line. That's the way to play it.
So I have newsflash for you. I want to do either all money lines or adjusted underdog lines this week and tie them with a couple games. But let's hit the games really quick. Eagles -3.5 against Washington. This is another one where I think I just like the money line.
Yeah, great.
I just want to grab the Eagles money line and put it with something else. I don't trust the hook. I don't 100% trust this Eagles team. And I bet in this situation before, as have you, where you bet the Eagles and Jalen Hurts just has a super weird game and has some weird injury that they're not sure how much he's hurt, and he's throwing in triple coverage.
Well, he's got the busted finger on the non-throwing hand.
Yeah. This comes down to two things, other than the Philly being way better than Washington. They have the best running attack in the league. Your team is 28th against the run. Washington is the third best running attack in the league. Philly's number 1 against the run. Your team hasn't looked really that good in 6-7 weeks, and you've been calling it out week after week, talking about the schedule's catching up to these guys a little bit. They were overachieving early. It's starting to come back to earth. I just don't think they're in the same ballpark as Philly. I don't trust the hook. I don't trust the cheap TD. I'd rather do Philly money line. Anything make you nervous?
Your instinct is lined up with my instinct because I've seen enough of these Philly-Washington games, even in seasons where there's been dramatic difference, much more pronounced difference in the quality of the team.
Remember that Monday night game that
Washington ended the Eagles' winning streak that season. It was just 2021, I think, whatever, a handful of seasons ago. But the right way to play is to take the team that has the better players. I want to be as reductive as possible.
That's something to play for. They're playing for a 1 seed. It's not like they're like, I don't know, should we try this week? They're trying to get a bye week.
I mean, again, Washington, I'm so happy. I love this team. And they did get right. They looked awesome against Tennessee. They kicked their ass. They looked awesome in the first half against the Saints. But they still like that defense. It's the thing why when you called me last summer, you were like, can Washington make a run here? And I was like, the only problem is the defense. Now they've made a run. It's really incredible. But Philly on the money line is the right way to play this.
And you're basically in the playoffs. You just got to win the Atlanta game or the Dallas game.
I agree.
Those are the 2 gagames. Although taking Kirk Cousins' corpse out of there you're probably sad to see him go.
I might want to workshop. Is Penix decent? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Kyle's gonna have to bleep that. Vikings Seahawks in Seattle. And this isn't a reactionary. Seattle sucked last week, so I want to now go against them again because we really try not to do that. If anything, that's like the worst thing you can do.
We try. I am a petty better.
Yeah, me too. And Seattle, I'll be honest, Seattle hurt my feelings last week. I was wounded. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "The Seahawks hurt my feelings."
That game was over. I was like, I just lost this. I watched the first 7 minutes.
You knew.
This money is gone.
You knew.
Bye.
It started like 1 o'clock West Coast time. By 1:30, I was like, all right, cross that off.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a horrible matchup for them. I don't like the matchup at all. The Minnesota's defense, the Minnesota's ability to throw to either receiver, have explosive plays, mix the running game in. And I also think Minnesota's good. And the line is Vikings by 2. I think Vikings are a top 5 team. Seattle's, we learned last week, is somewhere in the middle. And this is just bad luck. They played Green Bay and the Vikings back-to-back at home, and those games are just really hard. And I think the Seahawks are going to lose.
Well, it would be hard enough if Geno wasn't hurt. You cannot, under any circumstances, countenance even a 5% chance that Sam Howell will be playing quarterback for Seattle.
Right. Or how about injured Geno doesn't sound great to me either. I don't even like 100% healthy Geno that much.
This is another test of the thesis. We just did this with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Take the team with the better offense. Minnesota, Seattle. I'll take the team with the better offense. I know who it is. Minnesota secondary, gettable. We've been watching some teams, quietly pass the ball on them, especially in second halves. Seattle can't do it. We haven't seen Seattle's offense really do anything for feels like 6 weeks now.
Well, you know what happened? Metcalf got hurt and just hasn't looked the same.
Yeah.
Lockett, I guess, is at like a different point in his career. I'm not sure what happened to him. Kenneth Walker got hurt. So now it's like just one running back. And then, JSN's been their awesome receiver, but that's only going to take you so far. All right. Well, so we agree. We'll take the Vikings are -3. And I don't care because we're going to use the money line for them too.
Yeah, fine. Great.
So we'll pass on the Raiders, pass on the Lions. I looked long and hard at Rams Jets for the Jets side. I thought when it was 3.5, the Jets have actually been playing like pretty well lately.
Yeah.
I don't trust like the Rams, a lot of momentum behind them going West Coast to East Coast, but I just don't want to bet on the Jets, especially with all the dysfunction this week that I'm going to talk about later with Peter Schrager. This Athletic story that came out, and Garrett Wilson today gives a quote later in the afternoon about, do you think you'll be with the Jets last year? He's like, honestly, I don't know. Like there's a dysfunction smell from them that I don't like. So I feel like that's a stay away. But what's not a stay away for me is another dysfunction-y team. The 49ers in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
49ers plus 1.5.
Which one is the dysfunction-y team?
Well, both of them. The Niners, I feel like, probably should be favored in this game. As weird as their season's been. Adjusted on FanDuel to plus 4.5. I think we can get a little frisky with some people I want to put them with. But just fundamentally, Niners plus 4.5. Does that sound appealing to you?
So what's weird is, to me, why are you going in that direction? I'd rather lay points with the Niners because I think that they're the best. I'd like to do it like Niners minus 2.5. Like, something go in that direction where they underdog, because right now they're the underdog in that game. The money line is minus 106. It's like, I'm not going to disparage my great friend, the host of the Sunday pregame show, Ringer Sunday pregame. I'm not going to say that's a JJ underdog money line play. Even though JJ does, sometimes get close to the line in terms of his dog. But minus 106 isn't even a dog. So let's go. If we're going to get on San Francisco, let's get on them. Let's lay a little points. Let's take it in the direction that we think it's going to go.
San Francisco first half game is plus 165. I'm just mentioning that. Let's see. So the odds just aren't great for those. It's on FanDuel minus 112 for the minus 2.5. They don't. Well, they Christian's gonna get mad at you now.
I know. We just can't get any value.
Yeah, well, they know that's like a smart move to bend it. So they want to keep you. So the money line is plus 106.
Plus 106. So it moved a little bit.
It moves it a tiny bit, but not enough to make. You're just better off doing the plus 106.
Yeah,
but I can also offer you plus 4.5 at minus 215 that we could put with Usyk. One of the many things I want to put with Usyk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was
us?
thinking. Well, I was going to do this later, but let's just say that Niners plus 4.5 with Usyk is plus 141.
Because Usyk is like a minus 150 favorite.
Yeah, he's like minus 145 range.
Okay.
So, all right, we'll come back to them. We both like the Niners. I really like the Bengals, but I refuse. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not. I don't trust them.
Great instinct.
Just stay away. Good luck to them.
Away.
I know they have a chance to make the playoffs, depending on what happens with Denver tonight.
I will tell you, I'll confess right away.
You have the Bengals in a tease already?
I have them in money line positions. They are a leg in as a money line.
Well, that was my question. Do we do Bengals money line? I just don't trust their defense.
Oh, you can't trust it. It's
DTR is the quarterback now for the Browns. I don't know what that's going to look like.
Oh, I have an idea. I have a sneaky suspicion.
Cards minus 4.5 in Carolina. I watched the Cards pretty closely against the Pats. They're not very good.
I don't like 4.5. That's ridiculous.
Bucks Cowboys, another stay away with that Bucks defense. And then the two big ones for me. The Bills to beat the Patriots and the Packers to beat the Saints on Monday night. No Kamara, Rattler's going to play. I think I wanted to vote week 16 to just that being in every bet that we have. Both of them are minus 1,100 on FanDuel. And could we use those teams together as swing bets with other money lines that we like? We haven't done this all year.
Oh, I mean, I feel like we haven't done it in 5 years. This is like, it's an old school, like get the anchor and then you build around the anchor.
Old school anchor strategy.
So the old money line parlay. Welcome back to my life.
Pats home for the Bills, getting 14.5. DeBundo today on The Ringer in his excellent gambling column recommended the Pats plus 14, cold weather, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see any scenario. Like Barmore got scratched. I don't see any scenario where the Patriots beat the Bills. Like none. Zero. All they've been doing all week is talk about the coach. And then Packers Saints Monday night. Packers still playing for stuff. Saints, I don't know what they're playing for, but you got to watch them firsthand last week. Did they impress you in any way?
No, they did a great rope-a-dope by having watched him prepare for boudoir photo Hainer. The guy whose real attribute as an NFL quarterback are the pictures of himself.
Right.
Getting him out and putting Rattler in, it messed up the Washington defense.
Right. And you still should have won by 10. You had first down in the 9-yard line. You could have kneeled 3 times.
I can't really. Also, the game was 60 minutes and 4 seconds. So if we're going to mess with the clock, we're going to give teams extra time to get touchdowns, then you're in trouble.
All right. So going back to where we were before, Bills money line, Packers money line is the anchor. We're using the anchor strategy this week.
Love it.
Put that with the Vikings money line, minus 104.
Okay. That's a nice even money play.
Put that with the Eagles money line, minus 120.
Fine.
You put that with Usyk, minus 104.
Yep. See? We're doing it.
And we laid out the Manic strategy with on Tuesday about Usyk, just all in on him. We could also use Usyk as an anchor with the Ravens money line. Ravens money line Usyk plus 121. Niners plus 4.5 with Usyk plus 141. Jets plus 7.5 and Usyk plus 128. My bad. Ravens money and Usyk was plus 121. So all of those are plus, and now we just get to move that shit around. I'm going to take the Jets off for reasons we discussed, but we do have the other
Can't
two.
do the Jets.
So Niners plus 4.5, Usyk plus 141. And then the Ravens money line, maybe that's the move. And I think that's it. We just use anchors of Usyk, undefeated, the best boxer of the last few years, and then Bills Packers money line parlay, and we just go.
I mean, this is great. We took an unwatchable slate of games on Sunday because it really is one of the worst slates, of the season. And look at all the fun ways we have this split up. This is great.
So you don't want to put the Chiefs in with the Bills and Packers?
I don't. I mean, I'll take the L for thinking that the Browns were, going to not turn the ball over 6 times against the Chiefs at home. I'll take the L for that. But the Chiefs weren't very impressive. Their offense really didn't look great. And that was with Mahomes, most of the game healthy.
And we're going to stay away from the Bengals money line.
I don't know. I've already bet the
Talk
Bengals
me into
money
it.
line.
Make the case right now as I cue it up. Make the case for the Bengals money line.
The heart wants what the heart wants, and what the heart wants is the Bengals to be in the playoffs. I want the Bengals to win out. I want Denver to lose out. I want both the Colts and who's the other team that has to lose a game. I want the
Miami.
Bengals as the 7 seed. I want the Cincinnati Bengals as a 7 seed. I want us to wake up with them on wild card weekend up against the 2 seed in the form of who's going to be the 2 seed. Is it going to be it's either Buffalo or the Chiefs, right? And it could be it's Buffalo. It's either Buffalo or the Chiefs. That's an incredible wild card weekend.
Buffalo
game.
Cincinnati. That's our Saturday night Amazon game.
Can you imagine how good that would be?
So Cincinnati,
I honestly think it's going to be the Chiefs because I think that Mahomes, they're going to make a decision about it. But in any event,
Cincinnati with Usyk -102.
Great.
All right, so we're putting a lot on Usyk. Jesus,
Bengals. If these lose, this is on you and Chris Mannix. It's not on me.
I'm on the record. Usyk and Pereira in the UFC, I'm just betting them every time they decide to do combat until they lose. I'm doing the blackjack. I'm stacking my bets on those 2 guys, and it's been working for multiple years.
Okay.
Usyk hasn't lost ever, and
I'm
he's
knocking
been
on wood.
So much fun to bet on.
This would be the wipeout.
$1 million picks, week 16. We are up $1.254 million coming off a bad week where we learned some lessons. Looked in the mirror a couple times.
Don't take bad offenses.
Explain the anchor strategy to the audience one more time, House.
Old school, Bill Simmons' cousin Sal. You find a team that you like on the money line, and then you start building around them. We have 2 teams that we like on the money line this week, both Buffalo and Green Bay. Amazing
huge money lines, -1,100 each. Massive.
Right,
so you don't get a lot of value, but on FanDuel, you get some value.
And then you start grabbing, teams at lesser odds that you like, again, just on the money line, and try and build up around even money or to a plus side and try and build up a little bit of bankroll for those last minute Christmas gifts, BS. Because I still got some shopping to do.
So we're using 2 anchors. The first one are the Buffalo Bills just to beat New England in New England, and the Green Bay Packers just to beat the Saints. 2 of the worst teams right now. The Pats are one of the 4 worst teams. Saints are one of the 10 worst teams. Putting those 2 money lines together with the Vikings with their money lines. So the Vikings are -3 in Seattle, and we're just gonna something about the -3. We're just gonna let's just take the money line on it.
Take the money line. Sam Darnold's due to throw a pick. I mean, he's been looking outstanding.
Yeah, they might win by 1. We're just covered.
Right.
Just win the game, Minnesota.
That's
-104. No offense to Seattle. We still have a bunch of bets with them. Nice little hedge against our bets too, though.
That's right.
And then the other one is the Eagles money line, which if you put with the Bills and the Packers, the Eagles just to beat Washington, they're -3.5 point favorites. You put those 3 together, -120. So we are going to put $200K down.
Yes.
On those 2 events. $200K on each bet. Next one, the Ravens money line on Saturday against Pittsburgh. This will probably be a weird, ugly, strange game. We both
the weather's
going to
be it's going to be freezing cold.
Bad weather. It's a Derrick Henry game. We don't like the Ravens -6.5, just the money line. We're putting that with Alexander Usyk, who hasn't lost in his life, as a parlay, +121.
Excellent.
We're going to put $200K on that. Niners +4.5 adjusted in Miami. We get to bet against Tua again. What's more fun than betting against Tua and the DJ, Mike McDaniel? It's great.
Yeah.
Niners adjusted plus 4.5 with Usyk is plus 141. We'll put 150 on that. Put a little less.
Fair enough.
And then Bengals money line with Usyk. That's minus 102. Bengals just to beat the Browns and whoever the hell is on their team this week. No Nick Chubb. They're on their third quarterback. I don't know if they're trying to tank. Don't know they had their first round pick. What do you want to put on that one? 200 or 100?
100's enough. Let's not really bet on Cincinnati.
We'll do a little 100K just for fun because it's Sunday and there's no games.
And it starts the momentum for Cincinnati to get to the playoffs. I mean, we'll know from the Denver outcome whether or not that's reasonable. Denver and the Chargers, but
the anchor strategy. You don't want to put Chiefs plus 3.5 in this?
Chiefs plus 3.5. Oh,
with Usyk? Little 100K flyer.
So now that I will, yes. So what's the number? Let's hear the number.
All right, I just looked it up and we're doing this house. Chiefs adjusted to plus 4.5 with Usyk to win, plus 112. That's 100K.
Well, the only thing that gives us any challenge at all with that is Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz ends up being, but the 4.5, that's Wentz protection. We'll call that Wentz protection.
You know what's great about that house? I kind of believe in that little redheaded former assassin Carson Wentz to be good for one game and to try to get himself like a 3-year, $50 million contract as next year's Baker Mayfield with somebody. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I'd actually be excited if he played. All right, that's our last one. Chiefs plus 4.5 with Usyk. 100K on that. Those are the $1 million picks for week 16. So you did a fairway rolling end of the year awards with our guy Nate.
Yeah, the Rollies. We had a handful of categories. We wanted to sum up the year. Our good buddy Brendan Porath from the Shotgun Start podcast came on, and we just ran through all of the big events. I mean, Bryson as the breakthrough performer of the, we call him the comeback because he's been on the outs, and look at Bryson, king of the golf world. Our Dirk Diggler stud of the year went to I'm pretty sure it went to Xander Schauffele for winning 2 majors, right?
Yeah,
we didn't know that
would hope so.
He had that in him. And then we had the Hawk Tua creator of the year, and we gave that to the Louisville Police Department because that was the viral moment in the golf world. Nobody knows who Scotty Scheffler is, including the Louisville Police Department. The dude's at the front door of the golf course trying to drive in. They don't know who he is. That was the biggest moment in the entire world of golf. So, yeah, we had a good time with the Rollies. We got to get a trophy for it.
Did you give the Hawk Tua, here's my Bitcoin, I'm going to take all your money award, or was that wasn't handed out?
Well, there are some candidates for that for sure in golf, but we that can make the list for next year.
Well, how about the new LIV commissioner is the brother of somebody who was our favorite basketball player we ever played with at Holy Cross, Sean O'Neal.
So many great times with Sean O, and every interaction I've had with Scott O'Neal. What a great dude.
It's a great guy.
Tremendous.
We really, really loved playing with his brother. I wonder, he's got to be retired at this point.
Who, Sean O?
Yeah, there's no way he's still playing in his mid-50s. It was so great to just see him and be like, oh, yeah, let's get on Sean's team. Let's get on Sean's team.
Figure out how to get the ball.
Nice little bounce passes on the break.
Good. Yeah, handled it
great
properly.
Stuff.
Yeah.
All right, House. Happy gambling. We will see you, I think, next. Yeah, we'll be here next week for $1 Million Picks.
Fingers crossed.